Welcome to Pro-Am Sim Racing. This week we're at Spa Francorchamps for race 7. We can see already the weather's taken a turn for the worse for this race. So there's a rainstorm. Yeah, and I think seldom do we come to Spa Francorchamps without some adverse weather, but the drivers are going to really struggle with this one. I'm thinking in particular the RX-7s, loads of power to the back wheels there. A pretty tricky car to drive. I'm thinking the S2000s maybe. But I would say this is somewhere that you're going to see the MX-5s absolutely come alive.
Oh, this is going to be a very slippery race, isn't it?
That's it. There's someone stuck on the line. Yeah.
We're off now. Some tentative starts at the back there. Everyone gets away smoothly though, but as we're down into the first corner, all seems pretty clean. Oh, there's a bump there. There's a bump there, but everything's clean enough.
Yeah, so it looked like the Toyota Supra of Gazor looked like that one had stalled on the line.
Yeah, down into first corner again. Everyone's clean through there. Nice clean exits. No, you can't see who's even coming up here. We got Gargoyle.
No. I think people have made a good start there. They've left each other plenty of room for turn 1. And that had to have been a topic of conversation, I would say, before the race. Cold tyres at the start, a staggered start, so they're only getting colder, aren't they, at that start then.
They are indeed, yeah. It's still cold down this long back straight too.
Absolutely. Yeah, the weather being absolutely miserable, and they're just tiptoeing around these corners at the moment.
Yeah, just get in every place you can get in, but just be careful, keep it on track. Let's keep moving.
That's it. So we're looking at Jim at the moment. So he's lost 3 places, and this is really unusual for Jim. So he's just made 1 back now. So he's overtaken 40, who's absolutely tiptoeing around as well. But I think that's been a real tough start for him.
It has indeed, yeah. Doesn't look easy for anyone here. Very wide.
Yeah. So having a bit of a battle there with Ross Dalton. We'll see when we get back to the pros in a second how that one went.
Further ahead there, Pro-Am Neo was getting ahead of Samada.
He's just got past him there. So just managed to squeeze at the inside. So it's a lovely move there from Jim. But he's still...
He couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and Jim's still 1 down from his start. So he started off in 8th, dropped down the pack. And it may well be that he stalled at the start as well, so he's been held. I didn't quite see that on the start line though. No, so not with the rain, I'm afraid. But we certainly saw that Gazor was stuck, but he's just tumbling down the order as well, so he's down in 14th. But so far, everyone's kept it really clean. I hope that's not the commentator's curse, and we're going to see something big.
Kiwi's gone off somewhere. He's just fell down the grid.
I shouldn't have said anything. Poor Kiwi, I'm sorry, buddy.
Jim's finally got some out of here now.
Samada's going to find this one difficult. So Sylvia that is driving, we've talked about this many times, those narrow tyres that are on that car.
Going to the chicane, he's clearly ahead there. Oh, he's gone deep though. He's gone deep.
It's only going to make it a bit more sort of unwieldy, isn't it? The rain that we've got here. Still on the speedy, it's MX-5.
He's just nearly lost out to XY101 there down that straight. He's not got much speed in the Mazda.
No, ordinarily that's a car that you'd be, you know, putting a pretty safe bet on that would be calming up the field by this stage. XY making a bit of progress. Of course, it started at the back, so we've got a reverse grid using our performance index.
Now we're on board with R51. Pro-Am Matt's chasing R51 as we go down into the... Oh, quite close in the arms.
Yeah, so getting towards the sort of last section of that lap really, so getting into close to sector 3 now. Still surprisingly close, as you say. R51, he's made 4 places, as has Lou Laps in 6th place in front of him there. But R51 having a really dominant race there, and surprised, really surprised by the pace of that S2000. It's not a car that I'd have put money on for being really quick in the wet. So I'm really surprised by that.
No, you think it'd be lacking in grip and shaking around everywhere.
Yeah, and it's completely the opposite. So I think he's handling that car beautifully in the wet conditions. So, and in front of him, of course, Sparky, who's in the same.
Yeah, he's coming up on scurrying out, and he'll have a good run on him down the back straight with the speed difference between the two cars.
Yeah, and this is where our drivers that have started at the front, of course, they've got the highest PI, but they are the drivers that have struggled the most in the season. So it does force overtakes, but what we really get here is some really, really clean racing. So we've got our more experienced drivers moving up the field. We see Tonka's got right to the front. He's gained 8 places from the start, starting in 9th position.
He's been fast.
Yep.
Everyone else seems to be just crawling around for now, gaining position and where mistakes are made.
And that's it. And it's going to take a little while for that track to warm up a bit. And rubbering in is always going to be an issue in the rain as well.
Yeah, it just gets slippy. The scurry got past Nebnodder here as we go down onto the we're heading down into the 3rd sector now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
I'll cut with the pros across the start-finish straight. Is that three of them wide going down into turn 1?
It is, yeah. So for them, that's the beginning of lap 2. And we've seen Jim now. He's made a bit more progress, so he's getting up to 7th. So he's made a bit of a recovery. But Neo, on the other hand, exactly the same car, and he's up 7 places. So big difference between the two in their performance so far in this race, just within 2 laps.
Reading with Tonka now leading the arm race. Seems to have a clear gap out here. There's a gap to everyone.
That's it. And again, it's another S2000. So it's completely gone against what I thought would be logical for these cars and what was going to be leading within that class. So it's the complete opposite to what I'd anticipated. So we've seen the spray coming off Pickens' car there. So he's got the Subaru Impreza. So loads of spray there. And I think it's easy to forget sometimes how difficult it is to see when you're following a car, anything within about 2 seconds of the car in front, and it's really difficult to see that racing line and to see the corner that you're about to get up to as well. So
you see here where they just disappear into the distance, and you can't see what's going on.
The rain and that spray makes it really difficult. That, along with the fact that we're not in the middle of the day as well, so often our races tend to be fairly clear, sunny conditions during the daytime. We've got the complete opposite this time. So we've got a rainstorm with an evening race. So it's a completely different sort of environment to race in today. So really tricky conditions.
Definitely is. As we watch them all come down the straight here, we've got some sliding going on into turn 1. I think that was R51 sliding there.
Yeah, Nebnodder's just dropped down the pack a little bit there since coming over the line. So Matt and Sparky are well clear of him. R51 still making good progress, so up in 3rd.
That's some more drifting. I was drifting over the top of Radion there.
That's it, yeah. So R51 possibly regretting having a bit of a rear bias by the look of it on his brakes there. So rear just starting to slide as he gets the brakes on. And then back with the pros, Matt Gale flying up the front, then Mark and Gargoyle.
Pickens might be coming on in here.
Gargoyle, one of our newest racers in this season, and he's someone that we've not really spent a huge amount talking about. So he's picked the this Nissan here. Pretty challenging car to drive, but so it's the same car that U-Type's driving. But it does have a lot of pace, but it is a challenge to drive this one. So I think he's, as a new driver in the league, he's definitely given himself a bit of a challenge.
It's turning into a four-way fight. This Neil is coming back on upon Pickens and Jim. With four of them.
So brilliant progress now from Jim, getting up into 4th as well. Is he going to be able to get past Gargoyle? He's very close. He's just trying to get up the inside there. There's going around the outside.
No, that's the inside. It's pushed him wide a bit. It's
inside for the next
outbraked him.
Yeah. Yeah, he just misjudged that, hasn't he? So it was the inside of the last bend. So it's the inside of Eau Rouge. But of course, where we are now, it's the inside of these corners here. And our very own Matt.
Can we get him back a spark here? We're going through this section. So
that's it. So about a 2-second interval from the leader there. So we're not talking huge distances here at all. So 2 seconds from the car in front. So about 2.4 seconds from the car in front there. And that really is nothing. That's going to be a couple of corners, getting a bit brave, and finding where that grip is. But in a rainstorm with the cars that we've got here, huge amount of power in these rear-wheel drive cars, and it just felt like there's not enough rear downforce to hold the car there.
no, as we get proven there on screen.
R51 seems to be spending more time sideways than going forwards, but he's not losing his pace, so he's getting every little ounce of performance out of that car that he can, and there's no question there, he's definitely keeping his rear tyres warm.
Well, it certainly is if you're spinning them up.
That's it. So, and we do know with R51's driving style, it does tend to get him out of shape in his rear, but he's got some serious pace, so he's driving the car on a knife edge.
No, this is a close bar look. We've got four of them going around here.
So Neo's having a bit of a sniff. So we got 4 cars really close to each other here, all within about a second of each other.
Mark, Jim, Pickens, Neo, all fighting for second.
That's it. He's having a bit of a sniff. I think he's going to find a gap very quickly, and just get up the inside. So let's have a little look and see what happens there. So it looks like he's moving around the outside of here. Pickens hasn't made it easy for him though.
No.
I think he's just positioned his car nicely, but he's managed to slip past.
Yeah, Mark's the one that's putting car in the right place at every corner here. I say that. And he's just been forced not to.
Yeah, that's it. He's just
He's
gone
do
wide.
it once.
And it's they've both gone up either side around him. So reminds me of an old Formula 1 clip of watching, is it Coulthard and Hakkinen doing exactly that on Spa.
We'll Schumacher were it.
So
two of them are outside of the other.
I think so. So let's see what progress Neo's going to make here. He's not one that normally misses a gap, and now Jim seems to be the next one in his sights. Let's hope they keep it clean here, because we know one little tap and it can spell disaster when you've got conditions like this with high power rear wheel cars.
Not going to get him down at first corner anyway. Go all the way down that back straight might suit him.
So what we do know is that Neo and Jim, they were working on tunes together, even though they're in different teams. There has been a bit of collaboration between the two in finding the right tune for that Evo, because it's a really challenging car to drive. So they've been trying to extract every bit of performance that they can out of it, knowing that they're at a bit of a disadvantage actually compared to the MX-5, compared to the RX-7, compared to the Sylvia.
Well, this is the wonderful thing about our group. We're just trying to help keep everyone in the competition.
That's it. So there's a lot of support for one another when it comes to tuning. particularly coming from Pickens.
Yeah, because we were tuning God.
That is definitely a shout out, yeah. So tends to make a lot of tunes for the drivers, depending on the track and the conditions, or whatever they're struggling with the balance of their cars as well. So a font of knowledge, sort of happily given. So back on with Sparky, so going a bit wide in that S2000. Looked like Scurry was going to have a little bit of a sniff up the inside there, but he just closed the door, so managed to just maintain control of that car and just pull it back to the inside and close that door. Not quite slamming it shut, but it made Scurry think twice about that move, but he's right on his bunker, isn't he?
Oh, he is, yeah. There's a lot more grip through this section for the Mazda in the corners.
Yeah. And it is important when it's a wet track to find an alternative line as well. So the standard racing line isn't always the quickest when it's wet. And that's absolutely true in real life. Doesn't always translate to a sim. So that's just something to kind of play with and try and get a feel with, really. But sometimes going for the turning in for a later apex, so slow in, fast out, tends to work quite well if it's wet conditions. So that's something that we saw with that last car that we saw there, that S2000. But I was wondering just whether we were seeing a car that was having a little bit of trouble.
No, it's Matt Gale out in the lead, isn't it?
It's Matt Gale at the front. That's it. So it's Matt Gale in the lead, having a bit of a lonely race. A great one to have if you're in the lead, so it's a lonely race for all the right reasons. But what we're really going to see is when he pits in, and everything's going to change. So that's the one thing when he's going to get back through that traffic again. Unless he leaves it late, gets everyone else pitting in the lap before and just hangs that car out just for a little bit longer on those tyres. It might cost him a second, it might cost him 2 seconds, but he could come out with some clear air potentially in front of the rest of the pack. But
there's the gap. There's the gap there. Now we're back with Pro-Am Jim and Pro-Am New York, but that was the gap between them and the first.
No, it was actually penalties, that one. So it was showing 0.7 of a second penalty.
No, when it showed them all on the camera together.
Here we are. This is our gap now. So 2.4 seconds with Jim to the leader, Matt Gale.
They're catching, aren't they?
He is. So just in that lap there, within about half a lap, he's got 2/10. So it's doable by the end of the race, barely, if he continues the way he is. So yeah, he's taking another 2/10 out just within half a lap. So it's doable.
Well, to be fair, Matt Gale's got a 5.1 penalty. Maybe we did see Matt Gale going off because he's got a huge penalty
it's
there.
What it seemed like. The challenge is when it's raining like this, and it's difficult to see because it was a bit of a distant shot of him coming round.
Oh no, that's a dummy.
One of the sort of wide rights.
That was a dummy from Jim there.
What a move. Yeah. So that was Neo, wasn't it? Selling him a dummy. And he absolutely took it hook, line and sinker. But he's just taken that place back. So the two of them are very even when it comes to performance. And obviously, they've been sharing a lot of tunes. So we are going to see it's a lot of to-in and fro-in with these. But they race really cleanly. So good friends off track. And of course, they're biggest rivals of each other on track. So it makes for some brilliant racing.
Just can't quite get the legs on him down that straight. We kept pulling out the slipstream there to try and get by, and it just washed him out.
Yeah, I think he is trying to sell him a dummy as well. I think he's trying to get him to cover the inside so he can just get him offline and just get the cut back on him. So it's a brilliant battle between these two. So I hope that we get lots of footage of these two as they're battling throughout the rest of this race. Let's see how long this lasts. I'm hoping neither of them manage to come off with this as well. It does sometimes happen. Yeah.
They keep pushing each other. They're going to catch the leader as well. Both of them have already passed the leader in terms of his penalty anyway now. But
yeah, so down to 2.1 seconds. So they're getting pretty close. So certainly within within the lead of the race now. Yeah, as you say, owing to 5.1 second penalty that he's got at the front. And we're back on with Matt. So, getting up close to Scurry now.
He's not having a good race, Scurry. He's just falling back, his Scurry, isn't he?
So, well, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I mean, Matt should have the legs on him when it comes to the straight, which he has here. Absolute beast when it comes to top speed. So the Nissan,
we've both gone wide.
That's it. But live to tell the tale. Yeah, this Nissan here, brilliant top speed compared to some of those around it. Quite tail happy. So a little bit of a challenge around some of the tighter corners, particularly when it comes to the rain. And that's where the MX-5 is going to start to just pull a little bit more time back again. And it should be tight again through these corners. But then as soon as we get to the straights where you're going to have to stretch your legs again, we're going to see Matt disappearing off. We'll keep an eye on that interval. So it's at 1.1 seconds right now between Matt and Scurry. We'll see how that develops. And now we're on with Sparky. So he's around 8 seconds from the leader, Sparky. So it's all still to race for here. 6 laps to go. So we're just almost at the halfway point of the race.
We're going to pit window now. Start seeing drivers pit whatever they like, this lap, next lap, the lap after.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't really find, with the wet weather, particularly on this track, that there's a huge amount of tyre wear.
Oh, yeah.
So
the pit window is when everyone wants it to be with the rain, isn't it?
And that's it, because those wet tyres just seem to last really well. So they can easily last sort of 7 or 8 laps in some cases. So just dependent on driving style, of course. Those that are scrubbing the fronts are going to find a bit more of a problem. So it might get a bit tasty for them if they get to about lap 6 or lap 7. But generally, they can eke out that little bit more tyre life than they might in other dry races. So just as we said that, XY's got into the pits now. So he's in 6th position. So he's just dropping down the order. But this is all to be expected going into the pits, of course. And Neb Nodder's done exactly the same thing. So he's gone from a bit of a midfield sort of region at the moment, Neb Nodder.
Yeah.
And let's see whether that undercut's going to help him out. So he's going to come out with nice fresh tyres ahead of everybody else that may well be crowding each other getting in and out of those pits as well. So it could pay off the early pit.
If you can catch some toll around the track from other people that ain't got on when he comes out down that back street, he'll gain some time, won't he?
Yeah, and Neb Nodder needs to do that as well. So he is in the slowest car on the grid. So he's got the Mitsubishi Evo. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a lemon for this season. It hasn't been a quick car, albeit Neb Nodder's done a pretty good job in it. So whilst he's had a couple of incidents sliding and finding it, I think fair to say, a difficult car to get the right balance on. But the car is a bit of a lemon for this season. It's not a great one, and we found the same with so Cracker GT's got the same car and struggling with it exactly the same.
Yeah, and Flash at the back, he's also running around in an Evo too.
Yeah, that's right. So I think he's got the Evo. Is it the Evo 7 that he's got? So slightly older Evo, but possibly finding similar issues. So those cars that have gone from four-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive have a difficult balance anyway. It's quite difficult, that conversion with the tune. You put them into heavy rain with this sort of rainstorm, you're just going to find it being such a challenge to drive. And I think that's what we see. That really is what we're seeing now. Miguel's going into the pits from the lead. So dropping down the field now. So we're going to see what he can do with that. It's a shame that he's got that penalty. So he had a really comfortable lead for the whole race up until lap 7. So it's a shame to see that big penalty that he's got. But Be good to see what it was, but we really missed that, I think, because of the all the rain in the air. So it was the just the amount of spray, really.
I'm spot down in the first corner. Oh, we lost it. We didn't stay long with M Sport there, did we? Almost scurrying out.
What we did see was Matt Gale coming out the pits in 4th place. So, considering he's pitted in before everybody else, well, before most of the other drivers there, coming out 4th is actually pretty good. So it really does show the sort of lead that he's had on the midfield drivers. So he's a whole pit stop ahead by the time they got to lap 7.
This is close here. Scurry and Prime out. Scurry's going for pits.
Yep. So that's Scurry, Lou Laps, and
Wheelie and Sprout.
So and Sprout, yep. So it looks like most of them headed into the pits now. Lap 7. Interesting choice though, isn't it? Yep, going in lap 7 rather than halfway through and just maximising that grip. But whether it is that they're in a battle and they're either just enjoying it a bit too much to come in, or they're just maybe matching the other cars around them, not really sure.
Sometimes it's just good to get out the traffic.
Absolutely, let other people fight it out, slow each other down, get into the pits, come out in some clean air, and then see where you end up when you get to the they finish their pits as well, and then the pack starts to sort of get back together a little bit, so it rejoins, hopefully with you in front if you've been quite smart there tactically, so you can avoid that traffic. That is one of the reasons though, within the league now, we always have to wait until at least lap 4 before a pit, and that's so we don't get really early pits where we have people avoiding all the traffic. Tyre wear, of course, is set on 3 times as well, and that's exactly for that reason as well. So it means drivers have to think really strategically about their tyres and their pit stops. Early pits really don't work unless you're going to come out on a hard tyre and try and maximise your position on lap 4. Alright, going into lap 5 after that pit. So, but that's the reason that these rules have to exist, just to make sure we've got really fair racing and people aren't trying to just find little loopholes. So, unless the driver, of course, has got damage, in which case they can pit in on whatever lap they need to. But of course, they'll be massively disadvantaged because even the hard tyre does not last the entire race.
No, it's still 2 pits then.
That's it.
For damage.
So
never good.
That's it. And with this one, of course, being a wet race, we are only using the wet compound. It does have quite a decent life, as we said earlier. So you're probably looking 7 or 8 laps fairly comfortably until you get to maybe around 60% wear. But by that stage, you don't want to be driving around in a rainstorm on 60% wear. We know 65% in this particular sim gives you a pretty severe drop-off in grip. So in Formula 1 terms, what David Coulthard referred to as the cliff, and you reach that cliff when you get to about 65%. So 65, 66, you reach the cliff and the car can become really undrivable. So it's not something to risk, even with the wet tyres that have got just mountains of grip.
We're down to 2 or 3 seconds a lap on this track.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Or more, potentially even more. So it's not a risk to take. So I think that's everyone that's gone into the pits by the end of this lap, I would have thought. So
we got 4 there still showing not pitted on the pros.
So yeah, by lap 8 you'd have thought everyone would get in purely because of the loss of grip that they're going to be getting soon. But let's see. And we are seeing it's the front of the pro field as well. So these are our most experienced and quickest drivers. So we're looking at Jim, Neo and U-Type. They are the quickest drivers in pro at the moment. All of the pro drivers are pitted. I don't suppose you just saw how many seconds Jim had as his penalty. It was 4.7 seconds. So there must have been some sort of incidents that have taken place there between laps 6, I would say probably 6 and 7. So he didn't catch it within the replay, so something's definitely happened there, and that's going to really cost him.
Oh, that means let's give him the win of this already to Neil at this point.
Yeah. So Matt Gale back in front, of course, got the 5-second penalty. Neo, he's got that win. It looks like Pickens may well steal second place now, and then followed by U-Type. So, and that's.
Speaking of Neo in first place, he's on for Matt Gill's gearbox now.
And then we've got our results. So we've got Pro, we've got Neo, Jim and Matt Gale managed to hold on to third. And in the AMs, Tonka, R51 and Scurry in third. So looking at the standings, so where has this race got everybody to now? Team Spec R, 667 points. They are way ahead of Pace Invaders in second place. The gap between second, third and fourth, not too wide actually, and there's still a lot to play for there, but Team Spec R have been really dominant. Within the pros, V12, G-Force 1 on 308 points. Again, absolutely flying as a member of Team Spec R as well. So 308 points. Neo 265 and U-Type 253. M-Sport 251. Again, it's very, very close there. So I think it's really not so much the battle for the lead there. I think it's going to be the battle for the best of the rest, isn't it? Second and third place. XY101 leading the AMs on 359 points. Again, massive lead over second place. So getting Team Spec R over the line. R51, second place with 285 points. Speedy, very close in third place, 259. And then Sparky and Lofty Langshanks, 256 and 252 respectively. It's all still to play for, I would say. Those sort of second and third positions, they're within easy reach of any of those sort of top 8 drivers really in both categories. So there's still loads for us to be watching over the next race that we've got here. So if you like what you've seen tonight, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.